Alright, and we are live. What's up, Notjust developers? Welcome back to another live stream. Today we are starting a brand new project, and this project is going to be an interesting one. It's going to involve a lot of AI, and it's going to be a mobile application built with React Native and Expo. I'm going to document my whole journey from idea all the way until we build, design, implement, and deploy this application to the market. And this is going to happen during the next 5 days. So from today until Friday, my goal is to launch this application to the market. What I'm going to build, I'm going to tell you in a moment. But why I'm doing this because I'm participating myself in Notjust Hackathon. Well, I'm not participating, I'm just spreading awareness about this because this is our hackathon that we are organizing for all mobile developers. You can also participate, so if it's still December, there is still time to participate. And because the hackathon is 1 month long, starting from December 1st all the way until the end of the month, and there is still time. So all you have to do is build an application, launch it to the market, and submit your entry by the 31st December. And you have a chance to win the amazing prizes. More information about the hackathon itself you can find at notjust.dev, and while you're there, make sure to sign up to receive updates. But my personal plan for this December is to build 4 applications in 4 weeks. So I know that a lot of people will say like, oh, building and launching an application in 1 month is impossible. And I want to prove that that's not true. With the right prioritization, with the right tools in your tool set, it's possible to build, and I will prove that by building not 1 but actually 4 applications in 4 weeks. So you don't need a lot, you just need some dedication, a couple of hours a day, and I believe that in 20 hours you can build a solid first version of the MVP of the application. I already have done 2 applications. They are both on the store right now, and now I'm starting the 3rd one. I'm documenting this daily in the live streams. So if you're interested in following my journey, make sure to hit the subscribe button not to miss the videos out. Again, just a disclaimer, these are not our usual tutorials. Here I'm not teaching you a lot. Here I'm sharing my journey. You have a lot of things to learn from it by observing how I approach stuff, what tools I use, how I prioritize, how I implement, how I use React Native and Expo, and you can get a lot of tricks out of it, but it's usually not similar to how our tutorial on this channel are structured. We are prepared beforehand, and I deliver like very structured information. Here is going to be a little bit all over the place because that's the reality of how applications are built. And if you followed us before, you probably know about that. So today is Monday. That means that we are starting a new application. What that is going to be, let's talk about that in a second. But before that, I just want to remind you that we recently, a couple of weeks ago, launched the React Native Mastery, the course that I've been working on the whole year, where I put all my knowledge and experience about React Native and Expo. And the goal of this course is to teach you the tech stack behind the top applications. And here I'm talking about React Native, Expo, Expo Router, TypeScript, Zeus and Task Query Animated, Gesture Handler, and a lot of other important tools that goes into building production-grade universal applications. The course is structuring is split into 7 different projects. It's very hands-on. Something that if you follow us on YouTube, you know, like my teaching style is always hands-on. It's always building fun stuff. That's exactly what you get in the course. 7 different projects where everyone is carefully designed to teach you very important aspect of mobile development. We already have more than probably 150 students, and they all, most of them love it so far. If you want to enroll or learn more about React Native Mastery, you can find it at notjust.dev/React Native Mastery. And now back to our hackathon and back to the application that I'm going to build today. First of all, how is everyone doing? Hello, live chat. How are you guys? How is your progress with applications that you are building? Hello, Mohit. Hello, Anuj. Hello, Dev. Duran. Hello, React Native 2024. Oh, speaking about React Native 2024, your username reminded me about something very important that I wanted to, not super important, but that I'm looking forward. During the whole year, I'm looking forward to this part of the year, and here I'm talking about the state of React Native. So if you search the state of React Native, you're gonna go to this website, and this is a survey for React Native developers. It's already the third year that it's happening, and it's a great resource to share your opinions about React Native ecosystem, about the things that you're using, the things that you're struggling with. And this is actually a super important resource that I personally go back always when it comes to prioritizing what I want to do tutorials about, what I want to teach, what I want to focus on, because I look at what is the whole ecosystem, in what direction it goes, and I'm trying to make sure that you have the right resources and educational materials for this. So if you want to, in a way, influence what tutorials I'm going to do next year, one way to do that is to go to State of React Native and press Take the 2024 survey. Here it's going to take you probably less than 15 minutes, and in the end, like your vote matters, because a lot of the community takes this survey very seriously when they prioritize stuff. So let me go ahead and share this one with you. And React Native, the state of React Native. Wrong line. And you can go ahead and fill it in. Hello, Jamie. Hello, Yav. Hello, Ihuga. Hello, Rocket Rise Lab. Can I use your MyFitnessPal clone codes to develop my own fitness application? Things that I do on YouTube most usually, like, they are for educational purposes. So yeah, you can use it to base your application on them. For example, during this coding series, I'm not sharing the source code because I'm publishing this application myself, but from tutorials, you can feel free to use them and develop your own. But at the same time, it's your own responsibility when it comes to MyFitnessPal application, and if you're infringing any ownership rules for the application that we are cloning. Because what I'm doing on YouTube is for educational purposes, so be careful, like, not to not to use something that, for example, a logo for MyFitnessPal, you probably wouldn't be able to use it in a commercial application. But this is not, it's your responsibility. Hello, Jamie. How is your application? Have you submitted it to the store? Hello, Rogelio. How are you? Obsidian, slow going. Why slow going? What's stopping you? Having troubles with Firebase. Oh, I haven't used Firebase in years. Wrong line is saying, hello, probably I'll publish my application today. I have finished it. Amazing. I can't wait to see it. Hey guys, do you know how much time can it take to publish an app to Play Market? Publishing, like, the process is quite complicated, and I encourage you to get started as soon as possible, because with Play Market, with Google Play, you have to have application in testing mode, like in alpha testing or beta testing, for 2 weeks, and you need 20 users to test it out. So get started as soon as possible. I think there is still a bit of time to go through these 2 weeks, and use this opportunity, go on our Discord channel and ask other people to help you test it out, and help each other, guys. Can't wait for the next application. Learning so much. Thank you very much, Mr. Frank. How are you doing? Deepak, hello. Jamie, yes, submitted first and approved now. Now I can use Astro properly. I'm building a new application. Nice. So you got the Astro tool as well? Molly, hello. So yeah, the state of my application, one of them is published on the market. You can actually find it if you go to Easy Invoice Generator. Maybe find it by Invo 365. And this one is a simple invoice generator that we built in the first lesson. Now the second application that I've built, which is currently in review, maybe it should already receive a response. Most probably it's going to be rejected initially, but after some changes it's going to go through. This application is about a language learning application based on AI. So it's with AI chat. If I go there, I prepare a screenshot and stuff. So I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Like, you can chat with AI tutor to learn a language. It supports more than 10 languages. I mean, it supports as many languages as OpenAI or the other AI tool, LLM, that I used has. But yeah, that's what we had there. And this time, for the application that I'm building, I'm doing some keyword research, something that I haven't done in the past when building application. And this time I said, like, okay, instead of blindly building something that might or might not be needed out there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look exactly at, I'm going to use a keyword research tool, and I'm going to look for keywords that people actually search for. For example, usually people go on App Store and search, I don't know, food tracking application or calorie tracker, something like that. So I'm going to try to find these keywords that people are searching for, that are popular, but at the same time that we can compete with. Because if we're competing with big players like, I don't know, Nike or Duolingo, it's going to be super hard to rank high so that the people will find your applications. So that was my strategy for brainstorming and finding and validating ideas and choosing like what I'm going to build. And it's important because we are right in the same place. We need to research and to decide what we're going to build next. I kind of know, but I want to walk you through like my decision. So how did I do? I remember there was a shortcut to zoom in, but now I forgot it. Yeah, cannot do it. How do you zoom in? Let me bring this one here. Hello from SA. What can we use for payment in React Native besides Stripe? It really depends. Like, if you integrate in-app subscriptions or in-app payments that are for digital goods or for goods that are going to be consumed in the application, for example, music or things like that, books and so on, in that case, you cannot use Stripe, and you have to actually go and process the payments for Apple or Google through their products. And in that case, I highly recommend checking RevenueCat because it simplifies a lot how you integrate Apple subscription and Google subscription in a one common toolkit. And maybe or maybe not, if we manage, we're going to actually integrate payments in this application that I'm building now. But if you are building, like, let's say, an e-commerce application and people are buying physical goods, like they're buying sneakers, in that case, you can integrate Stripe or other third-party payment providers as well. The Avi, I was explaining this before. that's why we have 1 month for the hackathon, in order to give you the possibility to have these 2 weeks of testing. So go in testing like as soon as possible. Like if you do it now, like you still have time. So yeah, go ahead and try to have it on the market, publicly available by the end of the hackathon. Martin is asking, have you ever had any success with an app, or do you always sell them if someone buys it? With this kind of small applications, this is a new strategy that I'm trying, and in this space I didn't have a lot of success yet. So I'm new, I'm sharing my journey with you, very transparent, like I'm not an expert in building and marketing this kind of application. I'm very good with building and the technical side of things, with React Native and Expo and everything related to mobile development, but that's why our channel is called Not Just Development. It needs way more than just development to build a successful business around these applications. So that's why I'm doing it here, documenting my journey. Mr. Frank, the interview with Adam Lytle was very inspiring. Keyword-based ASO research is so important. Yeah, that one was eye-opening for me as well. I think it was option command 8. Option command 8. Yes, thank you. And I can go back, right? How can I do? Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and here is my screen. Hopefully you can see, super zoomed in. For example, for the invoice generator, this was a keyword that one of you guys recommended me in the first stream of this marathon. And I researched it, and it actually was quite a good keyword, because the popularity for invoice maker or invoice generator is quite high. It's more than 30, and this one is even 58, which means there is a lot of people searching for this keyword, invoice maker. And the difficulty is not too crazy. 52, I believe, is still possible. I'm not an expert, but at the same time, it's not 90 or 95, which we will see later. We already started ranking for some of them. For example, invoice generator, I think this is the main keyword that I'm trying to rank for, because I even put it in the title, invoice generator, because most of applications on the market have an invoice maker. If I go here, you're gonna see invoice maker is all over the place in titles, like here. But if I look at invoice generator, only one has invoice generator in the title, and none of them have it. So I thought it might be easier to rank if I would have it in the title, and that's why I'm tracking it here. So we are currently 122. The position is 122. We started at 200, it jumped to 122, and yeah, we'll keep tracking it. We actually got to, I'm not gonna look at this like low popularity invoices, but for these ones, I think easy invoice is the highest that we are ranked, 84. Okay, so what else? Then I was looking for some music, but here like white noise, sleep music, everything is super difficult to rank for. Net worth tracker, one idea that I might do it because it's not very complicated to do. I can do it in a couple of days. 27 is still okay. Here are some random ideas running. I'm sharing with you, maybe you can find something that you want to build as well. Feel free to take any ideas. AI, yeah, also QR code generator, kind of good. But I got into this language learning application that I've built previous week. And as you can see, like I researched so many keywords, because everything that I was finding was either low popularity, as you see here, or like red into the difficulty, meaning that it would be impossible to rank there. Because anything that you search for, you end up competing with Duolingo, which would be impossible to outrank. So yeah, this market of language learning is kind of dominated by a couple of players like Duolingo, Babel, and so on. And I think it's going to be difficult for me to do anything with my application here, but let's see. let's see, I specifically targeted this AI English, which has 64 in difficulty and 16 in popularity. So a little bit better, like, and yeah, in English grammar as well, like some popularity and not crazy amount of difficulty. We'll see how it goes. But even from the first day of this challenge, I found a keyword which was weirdly enough quite a good keyword from these definitions. And here I'm talking about this one. I'm talking about the AI girlfriend. The concept of such an application feels super weird for me. And that's why I didn't want to get into it in the first application. But looking at the data, it seems that it's a good market. Like, there is popularity, which means people are searching for it. And difficulty, everything is under 60. Like, everything is kind of possible. So, also, speaking about AI girlfriend, that would involve some kind of a chat with an AI agent. For the application that we just built for the language learning, this is also a chat for AI. That means that I have a lot of functionalities kind of ready, and I could reuse some of this. And also, there is a lot of things that I would also like to learn when it comes to these AI agents and how to properly create these prompts, or maybe how to compare different LLMs to see what works better. So there is still like a very deep hole into the AI agents and AI kind of applications that I think I would like to explore, because it's a new thing. There is a lot of potential there, and I still am at the surface level. I'm still like exploring and seeing what's out there. And I think the best way to do it is just to get the hands on it and try to build stuff with it. So that's why I think that this is time for us to try to build an application like AI Girlfriend, because it's a good market in terms of popularity here. The idea is weird. I don't know how it's going to go, but at the same time, it's good for me from a personal perspective, because from a technical perspective, because I will explore more about AI. I'm going to learn more about it. I'm going to get a more deeper understanding of these AI agents and how to build applications with them, how to build maybe successful applications with AI agents. So that's what we are going to build, a AI girlfriend application. Are you excited about that? Or should you be excited about that? I don't know. Let's see. Let's make an AI girlfriend boyfriend to target both of them. I'm interested like how to position it. But yeah, like if we have a tag part, like with keywords, maybe we can even do two applications. One AI girlfriend, one AI boyfriend. What is this keyword application? It's called Astro. And I think the website is tryastro.something. I don't know. What app are you using for keyword research? But it's only for available on macOS, and it's only using App Store. It's not for Google Play as well. But in terms of money, it's super affordable, because the competitors are very expensive. They are hundreds of dollars a month, but this one is $69 a year or something like that. Hey, Mr. Frank, thank you very much. Fato is saying, I'm a Flutter dev and want to transition to React Native because of your channel. Hey, thank you very much. I'm happy that that you made that decision. So let's go ahead and add the application here, the app page, and it's going to be a page, and let's call it AI. And I'm gonna start with MVP and the features that I would like in the MVP. And the main one is to do chat with an AI agent, or AI. Chat with AI. That would be the first one. So I'm going to try to focus on building this first to be able, as a user, to go ahead and chat with an AI. And after that, maybe I will want to add, like, as the next steps, different personalities. And matching, maybe Tinder-like with swiping. So I'd build like this AI personalities. I'm gonna give them some parameters, and then the user would swipe left, right, and match it, similar to how Tinder works. But I think like we need to start with chat with AI. And from, let's say, piping, we need to sign in. We need to be able to create an account and sign in. Onboarding will come later. Okay, so let's give it a go. Oh, I was not sharing the screen. Sorry. I was setting up the page on Notion with my to-do list. I'm gonna keep the focus on the most important feature without going into details, and I highly encourage you to do the same when building an application. Find out what is that one feature that is the most important one, the key feature of application, and build that one first. And after that, think about like everything else that you plan to do. Because if you start with the logging page or the dark mode or the settings page, like that's not the right way to get started. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to do cd projects paths here, and I'm going to do npx. I'm going to start a new expo project. I'm going to call it I'm going to use create expo stack tool. Let's call it AI girlfriend. Using TypeScript, npm, expo router. Let's go with a stack. Let's go with native wind. State management, I don't think I need it now. If I need, I will install it. For authentication, we're gonna need Supabase, but again, probably we're gonna do it ourselves. Setup, no, and that's it. And by the way, here I wanted to show you the application, the AI language learning application, because it already works. It has the AI agent that is listening to this channel, and I can say here, hello, how are you? And is going to listen and answer. So AI girlfriend like is going to work pretty similar to how this one is working. So that's why I'm gonna reuse a lot of stuff from here, and I'm gonna improve on it. Let me go ahead and bring the chat closer to me. Here it is. I'm going to open it with Cursor, which is Visual Studio Code, but with some AI tools. I'm still not sure about it, like if it's helping me or stopping me, but let's use it. Maybe I need to look into how to customize it better. But here it is. I'm going to go ahead and start by starting the server. And let's do opening on iOS. What is the average time from submitting your apps it being available on App Store? It depends on how many times you get rejected. Because if you don't get rejected on App Store right now, the wait times is less than a day. But if you get rejected a couple of times, like you need to go fix stuff, and this takes time. Like assume that it's going to take time. Using 11 Labs or OpenAI. The previous one, the language learning application, I used OpenAI, but then I switched to Anthropic. So Anthropic is from, Anthropic. I don't know. Anthropic is its own company or? Anthropic. because I had a small bug with, yeah, Anthropic is its own company, I guess. So it's cloud. The model. Yeah, this one. But the backend that I'm using for the AI agent is basically pre-built both with the cloud and with Anthropic and OpenAI models. So I'm gonna see which one works better in this case. Have you deployed Expo API routes? I'm having an issue because it's trying to bundle all my code for web and breaks my maps. My app is ready to submit, but the backend is blocked here. I didn't actually deploy API routes. Where are you trying to deploy them? You can also check something like Cloud and AI Notebook. Let me take some notes here. What are these? Voice to text and summary of a whole day conversation. Do you know any TTS models that are cheaper than 11 labs? Nope. You're trying to do it on Vercel. I think I was trying to do on Vercel as well, and I had like some issues. Try the other one. What's the other one? The Netlify? I think someone, like one of our students, managed to do it on Netlify based on the documentation. For me, Vercel also something didn't work correctly, but I didn't have time to look into it more closely. Okay, so here we have our basic application. Now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start by adding a stream. I'm gonna go to get stream, and I'm using stream for the whole chatting infrastructure. I don't want to rebuild the chatting features myself. I want to save as much time as possible and use an SDK for testing these ideas. And Stream Chat is best when it comes to chatting and video. They sponsor our previous project, but I'm using them always when I have to deal with chatting. I don't want to rebuild stuff from scratch. So let me go into the chat and messaging docs, and I'm gonna follow the getting started guide to set it up here. I'm going to select React Native, and let's do React Native. Come on, I'm gonna go into docs, React Native. Let's go to UI components. And let's go to installation first. Here I'm going to select Expo, and I'm going to start by installing StreamChat Expo. Let me move this one here probably, and I'm gonna start with this. Then it also has some dependencies like React Native Community Net Info, image manipulator, and so on. So let's do that as well. Next, for the gesture handler, we need to do some kind of additional stuff. So I know that for gesture handler, the additional stuff that we have to do, like if I look into their installation guide, is to wrap our root application in gesture handler root view. So I'm gonna go into application layout, which is the root layout, and I'm going to wrap it inside the gesture handler root view. And to make sure that it's not half of a screen, I'm going to give here a class name flex1. That is going to make it full screen, full height of a screen. Good. That is the gesture handler. Let's see what other dependencies we install that might need gesture handler. Reanimated needs additional stuff. So I'm gonna go to Reanimated, to their documentation, and in getting started, I need to add their plugin in the Babel config plugins. So I'm gonna open Babel config, and under plugins here, not in presets but plugins, I'm gonna add the React Native Reanimated. And I think I was skipping this one. Okay, what else? The SVG doesn't need probably anything. Play video and audio attachments. For that, we need the Expo AV. I don't need that at the moment. For voice recording as well, Expo AV. I don't need that for the moment. Later, maybe we can add it here, like additional features were nice to have. Audio messages, audio to text, or voice to text and text to voice. Text to voice, I don't know. Configuring permissions for Expo AV, but I don't need that. Haptic feedback, that would be nice, but is it supported? Let's install it. Haptic feedback would have like this haptic when you maybe long press a button and so on, and provides very nice user experience. Copy message as well. We can just simply install this one, and Stream Chat will allow users to copy the message to clipboard. Share file attachments. I'm not gonna do that. Image and so on. No. No. Built-in no. Offline support as well. Not now. Maybe later. Additional steps. I've done that already. And that's it. That's it when it comes to installing Stream Chat. Now let's go ahead in the overview and see how we can get started. To get started, we need to create this client. The client, I'm going to create it. First of all, I'm going to create a new folder source, and I'm going to put stuff in the source, such as the app directory. I'm going to move in the source because I like the source code to be in the source directory. Components as well in the source. I'm going to make sure that the imports are correct. At the moment, probably I'm not going to see that, but I can go ahead and do an npm start with --clear to clear the Metro server and to see if it still works. So I'm going to run it on iOS. Levan is asking how to build widgets with Expo. Is there any package? Check out, I think Avon has documented that. Expo widgets, Avon, Expo screen, home screen widgets. Here on Avon's blog post, there is a blog post where Avon explained how he is doing that. I tried once, I didn't get it to the end, but you can give it a try. Maybe I'm going to dive deeper into it and maybe do a tutorial. If I run npx expo export, it breaks even without Vercel. Does it give you any errors? The issues that come up is that the React Native Maps package is a native module not available on web. I excluded the maps import from platform web, but still doesn't work. I think next I will make a branch and totally remove a map function and try rebuilding that. You know what? Try like you try having like a component. For example, my map. Then in here have that's just an idea what you could try. Have a index.tsx where you export default my map and render the map view imported from somewhere, for example, React Native Maps. Maybe you can pass down the props here, like props, and do that. And add another index.web.tsx, and here for the my map, instead of you're not gonna have access on map view on the web, so render just a view with a text saying map not available. So when you're going to import my map, on mobile is going to import this one, and on web is going to import this one. And here you're not gonna access it. But make sure, like you have this .web for the files where you are referencing it. Because if you are referencing it here, but also, let's say in the button you say like, let's import the map here as well, the button is going to be the one who is going to raise the error. So make sure that you have this, you add this abstraction layer, and only in your application import from here, from my map, that does this web and not web. Maybe that's going to solve. I cannot promise, but try it out. What's the next application you're building? We're building the AI girlfriend application. Submitting the first application in a week. So excited but nervous. Let's go. That's the whole goal of this hackathon, is to push you forward, to make sure to help you submit your first application. So no matter what's gonna happen, consider this a win. Like, you got started, and you're gonna go for a couple of rejections because nobody is saved from that. Even I, with a simple application, got for a couple of rejections, but that's going to be the learning opportunity. Bright Great is saying, your channel has helped me a lot. Although I'm still searching for a job, I just published a talent booking application, which is now live on Play Store. I know I'll get a job and come and say thank you to you. Appreciate it. Good luck with job searching. That is a great solution. Thank you, Vadim. Try it out. Not sure if it's gonna help, but it's worth trying. Anyway, back here to our application. It's still working. Everything is still working. So after moving to the source, for the stream chat configuration, I'm going to pick into my previous project. So I'm going to open a new window, and I'm going to look at the peer-to-peer language learning. Here in the peer-to-peer language learning, I think in the components, source, components, stream, I had this chat client. And this chat client was actually a very good component. So I'm gonna copy it in our application, in our new application, and I'm going to say, hey, let's create a folder stream, and let's create a new file, chat client.tsx, and have this function here. So what we are doing, well, these things we don't have yet, the authentication and the provider. We're gonna figure them out in a second. I'm gonna comment this one out as well. So what we are trying to do here is we are trying to initialize stream chat using this use create chat client. We are giving it an API key, which is going to be this expo public stream API key, which we need to actually go ahead and set it in our env file, which is going to be equal to the expo, to the stream API key. For that, we need to sign up for stream and get our API key. I'm going to go into my dashboard. Let me go get stream. I'm gonna sign in quickly. And I'm going to create a new application. The app name is going to be AI. For the servers, I'm going to go Ohio. And here I'm going to go US East. Environment development, let's create the application. Okay, I have a key here. I'm going to copy it and provide it in the here. And all I have to do is, of course, restart so the environment variable is loaded. And when used here, it's going to be available in the client for the API key. Here we need token or provider. Token or provider. We haven't integrated authentication yet, so I'm going to go with a development token. But for that, I'm going to have to go here in the chat messaging overview, scroll down until authentication, and do disable auth checks so that I could use development tokens. Development tokens are not secure, so that's why they are only used in development. And I'm going to do that by providing here token. And I think it's called dev token, or how do we do that? maybe token or provider. And let's look at stream chat dev token. Let's go into the docs, into the React Native client, and token on authentication. Here we explain about tokens. Basically, we need to generate a token for the user on our server, in this way to connect like our user in our database with stream chat user. But because we don't have a server yet, I'm going to do developer token. And here is done with client.dev token. But client is here, so don't have a client yet. Maybe there is a generator, right? Let me see if I can do token generator. Where is the token generator? Here, we need the secret and the user ID, and that's going to generate a token for us. So that means that I don't need to disable the off checks. So let me try to give here the user ID 123. Here I'm going to put my secret and I'm going to get a token. I'm going to hide it for a second because of course I'm going to regenerate my secrets, but still I'm going to copy it, put it here and get the token. And with that token I can go here and say, hey, this is going to be the token. I'm going to take it and give it here. And here in the ID, I need to use the same token ID, the same ID for the user. And the user ID was 123. I don't know how it knew about that, but that's good. And for the name, I'm going to do, I don't know, Vadim. And you can even give it an image. Maybe later I can do here. Later I'm going to add more. So now that we have a client, I will render it in the chat client. And while we are waiting, we are rendering an activity indicator. Now I can take this chat client and go into my application. Let me not put it into the layout because in a second I'm going to add like authentication. I'm going to create a new folder called protected. And this is going to be the screens that you get to after you are signed in. So in the underscore layout, let's call it protected layout. It's going to be a stack. Is it going to be a stack? Maybe it's going to be a stack. And what I'm going to do with this stack is I'm going to wrap it in the chat or chat client. Chat client component from our components that we just built here. In the components, we just built this chat client. So by putting the stack inside the chat client, it's going to go here and wrap it in the chat provider. And this will give it any screens in our protected folder access to the chat client, and it will allow them to connect to stream chat. Let's go ahead and maybe reload. In the index, I'm going to do export default. Let's do view home, maybe text home. And from this index, which is our current home screen, I don't think I need anything here. So I could simply do here a return redirect component from expo router, and this way I am going to redirect directly to the protected index. So let's redirect to /protected. By doing that, let's see what's going to happen. So when we open the application is going to go on the index is going to redirect now to protected, and in the protected we are going to render this index, which should do home screen, but this home screen is inside the layout, and that means that it's going to have access to the chat client. Use overlay context hook was called outside overlay context. Okay, let me see, because I didn't finish the installation. I created the client, I connected a user, a bit differently than this one because we connected with a hook, but still good. And probably we're gonna need to create a channel in a second, like this one. I'm going to do that where? In the chat client. Should I do here a use effect and create a So after creating the client, I'm going to create a basic channel and join the channel to see and to start being able to test it out. Later, this is only for development. So I'm going to add remove for testing. Now we need to configure UI components. The first UI component that we need to do is the overlay provider. The overlay provider can be as soon as possible, and maybe even at the root level here. We can do here overlay provider that is imported from StreamChat Expo. This overlay provider is helping StreamChat render overlays such as pop-ups and so on. The next one is the chat, and we have done that because that is where we provide the client. And this chat we rendered in the chat client here, as you can see, chat. The next step is the channel list. The channel list is going to render the list of channels we are part of. Let's go ahead in our protected index and here render the channel list. So if I do that and reload, I should already have the channel list here. Maybe I don't see any channels yet, but if I reload, I actually see the park channel, which is the channel that we set to join here. So that's good. That's already something. These three components, and then we can go ahead and render the channel itself. To know what channel we are on, we're gonna need like a state. In the next step, I want to press on this channel and redirect to a page that will display the channel details. Displaying the channel details is easy because all we have to do is create a file called channel.tsx, and here let's do export default function channel, and what we're going to render is, well, we need the channel with a specific channel. Channel screen. This channel is going to be imported from StreamChat. It needs an actual channel. Can I do channel ID? I don't think I can. I just need to give in an actual channel. Where do we get it from? Maybe we can do here I don't think that this is right, but give me a second. Const client like this. Use chat context And using use chat context, we're going to get access to the client. And using the client, we can create a channel with the same ID and give it here. Let's see if it's going to work. Come on. If I add it here or something. Now, in the index, in the channel list, there is a hook called onSelect. That hook is going to give us the channel. Is it on select? Yes, it's on select. And we can use the router from Expo router to redirect to the channel with this ID. I don't think that's how it works, but just doing channel push. That's it. Now if I press on this channel, nothing happens, but if I reload and press on the channel, I go to the channel screen, which is this one. Here we don't see anything. But if I'm going to render the message list, also from Stream Chat Expo, again, we don't see anything, but we see the empty stream, no chat here. And if I added the bottom message input, also from here, and go here, we see the message input at the bottom. We can start sending a message, we can send it, and it's going to appear in this channel. And that's it. That's the whole everything that we need to have a chatting application. Now we can do likes, we can do replies and so on. Hello. I don't know why it's coming from the bottom, because usually it was in line. But we're gonna figure this out later. We can add a reaction. We can do GIFs and so on. So that's our very basic structure for our messaging. Let me go ahead and do git status. I'm going to make sure that in git ignore I add here at the top the .env file, not to submit it to the git. And I'm going to do git add git commit -m setup stream chat. Good. I might also go ahead and do on GitHub to create the repository. It's going to be private, so I'm not going to share the source code, but you can follow along as I build it. And I'm going to connect it here and do git push origin main. And it should be on Git. Perfect. Google Play stressing me out. Sent my app for review yesterday. Hopefully they approve it. Yeah, good luck. Just to set the right expectations, most probably they will not approve it from the first time, but it's good that you got started. And they will give you a reason, you're gonna fix it, you're gonna send it again, and that's the process that we all go through. Now let me go ahead and actually take a seat and we can continue working. Because we just got started, we are 50 minutes in and we already have a messaging implemented. I'm slowly appearing in the screen. Here I am, and we are gonna continue. I hope they don't go for Christmas break. Yeah, that's also true. Let me hide this protected screen at the top, right? I don't need it. That protected is coming from layout. I can go ahead here and say, hey, maybe screen options header shown false. Yeah, that's good. Now I have it here. Perfect. Are there any penalties from Apple and Google for getting a rejection? Or is it just like you're bound to get a rejection sometimes? Not a big deal. Just fix the issue. Yeah, I don't think there is penalties. as long as you're trying your best, like you're trying your best to fulfill all the requirements and everything they say like you're trying to fix, I think there is no penalties for this. Just, yeah, and it's part of a process, expected. Like none of my application have passed from the first try. It's always something, and I always learn something new. I always find new rules out. For the invoice generator, I thought like it's such an easy application, like I couldn't mess up any rules, and I actually managed to mess up because I had the word free in the subtitle, and Apple doesn't like the word free in the metadata, in the title or subtitle, and I had to take it out. So that was the easy fix. Sometimes it's much harder, especially, for example, if you're building social media applications, you need to let people report and block our users. So you might build everything is perfect, you're ready to publish, you go and you're rejected based on that. You have to go back and implement this feature. It's not an easy fix because it's a new feature to allow users to report content or block users. And some of these things like take time to implement, but you learn them, and as you build, you have them in mind, like, okay, if I do this, I need to make sure to do that as well. If I add content, I need to do that. So trial and error. Who else wants a desk setup tour from Vadim? Yeah, who else wants it? Now what I want to do is when I get to this channel, I'm basically hard coding the channel on this page. But I want to be able to do like different channels as well. For example, if now in the components, stream, chat client, if I'm going to do another one, shared, and do shared, we see two of them, which probably should be renamed, but it's not because I didn't update it at the right time. But anyway, like this is the shared channel, which is not displayed when we go there. Like we have in the index, we have a channel here, and the channel has ID. So we could kind of, this is the part that was not always super, I didn't agree like too much on how it is implemented, because I would like to send there the ID and from the channel page to just find it by ID. But I think it's not that straightforward. Let me see, channel. And if I press on it here, let me reload, press again, channel undefined. Why? Maybe I shouldn't destructure. I think I shouldn't destructure. If I press, okay, we see something. Maybe I will do a JSON stringify channel. It was not possible to do that. Anyway, here it is. So channel URL, client. There is a lot of things about that channel. But there should also be an ID. There is user. CID, messaging shared. Where is ID shared? Where is ID and where is the CID? And let me look if there is. I would love to have a hook that on the details page I can do use channel by ID and just use that channel. Because the way we are doing here is through state or through shared state. Yeah, I can have like a context API, and when pressing on something, store the channel there, and when I get on the screen, to display it there. But I'd really love to be able to send an ID, and from that channel, just based on that ID, to open it up. Because it will also allow me to open directly on that screen when a push notification happens or things like that. So let me check. Like, it should be possible, but I never found like the way to do it. So I'm gonna look into the React Native channel. These are still UI components. Maybe I'm going to look at client SDK, React Native, managing users, querying users. There is querying users, but I want to query channels, creating a channel, watching a channel, creating a channel. One time I implemented this with querying the channels, but again, like, I'm not sure if that's the best way to do it. Thinking this. Anyway, let's go ahead and add Zustand and go with this approach by storing the current channel in the state and then getting it there. So I could do that with React context as well. That's perfectly fine, and that's what we did previously. But let's try to see if maybe we can do better with Zustand. So I'm going to first install it. I'm going to create a source here, store. I'm going to create the index.ts, and I'm going to create the Zustand store. We do that by doing const use store equal to create. This is going to be the type store or state. Our state is going to contain a channel, which is going to be of type channel or null. This channel is going to be from stream chat. I don't know where, but we're gonna find it out. Set channel as well. Let me see where I can find this channel to import the channel. Is that how we're supposed to do it? I don't know. We're gonna see. Now we do use store, and here we're gonna initialize the channel with null. And here set channel is going to be channel, and we're gonna set channel like this. Now let's do export use store, and we're going to import it where? First in the index where we have a channel list. So let's do import use store. It has this shortcut. Maybe it's a good idea to add this shortcut for us as well in tsconfig, or maybe not. We can do it like this: source store const set channel use store state is state dot set channel, and I do it like this without destructuring. Now all I have to do is set it in state like this, and then push it there. The type is not correct because it should be something like this. Channel type. Oh, how do you do that? Where is it? Stream. Channel type from stream chat like this. Okay, now I see. Maybe I don't even need. Okay. Yeah, it was imported from stream chat like this. And now I can set it here. Then I can do router push channel, and on the channel screen, what I can do is take it from Zustand. So I'm going to do const channel equal use store state channel. If channel is null, I think I will have to simply return a redirect back. Because if channel is null in the store and we got here, that means that it was by mistake. We need to have a selected channel. Otherwise, render the channel. So if I go on the second one, I get back. I see this one. If I go here, I see this one. If I go here, I see this one. So as you can see, they have we correctly display the data because we store it in Zustand in a global store, and by the time we get on this channel, we have it there. Now I can probably also do stack dot, but yeah, that's later. There is channel name, war chat. Okay, something like this. For the index, what we want to do in the layout, maybe I'm going to do here, hey, stack.screen name index is going to, I want to adjust the header title to conversations. I don't know, different conversations that are happening in the application. Or chats, simply. And in the index, another thing that I want to do here, that I'm going to have to do, not to forget, is add filter. Maybe I will do it now, because in this case, we are kind of querying all the filters, all the channels. And even though it's not going to display channels that do not belong to us, it's going to throw an error, because it's going to say like you don't have access to the channel that you are not member of. So what I'm going to have to do, again, maybe a bit later when we add authentication, is a filtering mechanism. So here is going to do const filter. We're going to probably filter by members. And here we say where members array has a value 1, 2, 3, which is our, let's do it like user I'm gonna do it like this, and later on I'm going to get the user from authentication. Now I can take this filter and add it here and say, hey, only give me channels where I'm a member of. And here we have both of them, but if my user ID will be something else, I'm going to reload, and I'm gonna filters, should be filters. As you can see, now we're not gonna see our channels that we are not a member of. We're gonna only see the ones based on the where we are a member of. Now it works. Or no, it doesn't. It doesn't, because when we created the channel here in the components, we didn't add the members. Again, I'm going to do it like this. And I'm going to reload. Let's do channel 1. Okay, I have shared here channel 1. And if, for example, in the filtering, I'm going to have another ID. It's not going to display it. It's only going to display channels where I'm a member of. And when creating a channel, we need to add ourselves as a member of that channel. We're going to do that later when we start a chat with an AI agent. Yo, what's cooking? We are cooking AI girlfriend application where users will be able to chat with digital AI agents. Sounds interesting, sounds weird, but that's what we're gonna do, and we already have the chatting functionalities ready. Hello. Let me go into the channel itself, and I'm going to wrap it inside. Let me wrap it inside a safe area view, because as you saw, like, the message was not displayed until the bottom of the screen. And I'm going to say that on edges, only apply it on the bottom. I don't need it on the top. So now it applies to the bottom. And for the class name, I can do bg white to make the background white. It doesn't want to add content. Maybe I can do it with style, background, color, white. Will it work? If I go here, yes, it works. If I add red, it's going to be red there. So now it's better positioned. Let's do Mapbox order tracing integration to the food order app and have it uploaded to the stores. Crossing my fingers. That would be interesting, but I don't have like any ideas like of applications that I could build in that direction at the moment. Like, if you give me some good keywords that I can build for, would be nice. Because we still have like this one and one more. This is the second and we have 4 applications. This is the third, we have 4 in total. So for the last one, I still need ideas. Okay, so good progress so far. Let me do git status. It's still set up stream chat. Now it works pretty nicely. And I think that the next step, if we look at our to-do list, to chat with an AI, we still need like the AI agent. Integrate AI agent. But before I do that, let's do, I'm going to split it down into smaller steps. So for chat features, we have it, but we need to integrate AI agent. I'm going to do that a bit later. I want to probably cover the sign in right now so that we have like this piping, like this core of our chat ready, so that you could sign up, you have an account, you can start chatting. And once I have like these basics of the application done, I can think about like figuring out like the AI agent and so on. So for the signing in, again, I'm going to reuse a lot of logic that I had like for my previous project. And for the backend of choice for my application, I'm going to go with Supabase. Supabase is a Firebase alternative, basically a backend built on top of Postgres. Postgres is super powerful, and I started loving Postgres specifically after using Supabase so much. So let's go ahead and create a new project. I'm gonna give it a name, AI Girlfriend. It's going to need a password. I'm going to change it later. Or maybe, yeah, I'm going to change it later. Or maybe I'm going to change it now and not have to regenerate it later. Let me copy it, add to some notes. the server is going to be in Ohio, very close to my chatting service. Let's go create. This will set up the project here. While this is happening, I'm going to usually open the Supabase React Native. And there is this tutorial for build a user management app with Expo and React Native. I'm gonna skip a couple of steps and go directly to this one where we install Supabase JS and the async storage. So I'm gonna copy these two and I'm going to install them here. For some reason, previous time I wanted to replace async storage with the SQLite storage, the new library from Expo, but I believe it was not working when I had some issues. I don't think it was from the library or not, but to be safe, I'm gonna go with async storage this time. And I'm going to create the Supabase TS client in lib. So in source lib, let's create supabase.ts. Here we are importing async storage, we importing create client, and we create and export a Supabase client configuration. For that we need the Supabase URL, which I'm going to take from process.env.expo public. It should start with expo public so that it's available in the client-side code. And let's call it expo public Supabase URL. And the same for the second one. Expo public Supabase unknown key. Let's go now and add this to our environment, such as the Supabase URL. And the second one is going to be the unknown key. The values we are going to take from the dashboard by going to project settings. Under API, at the top we see project URL. So let's copy this one in the URL and unknown key from the keys below in the unknown key. The unknown key is also called like public key or anonymous key, and it's safe to use and share in the client-side code. The secret, on the other hand, is not safe to share it because with this you have access to all the data. With anonymous key, the authorization to the data is going to happen based on policies that we're going to define on the database. We're going to only allow like owners of data to be able to read it. So that's why it's safe to do it like this. So Supabase URL, let's do it like with a exclamation mark here as well, and we are good here with the Supabase URL. Back here, our project status is what? It's not set up yet, or is it set up? I think it's set up already. So what we can do is we need to set up the structure of our database. Because by default in the public we don't have any directories, we don't have any tables. However, we already have tables for authentication and so on, which we're not supposed to touch, but it powers the authentication. What I want to do is I want to go into the SQL editor, and here in the templates or quick starts, there should be one called maybe quick starts, user management starter. If we select this one and run it, what we're going to do is we're going to create a profiles table in the public schema, in the schema that we have access to as developers. And we're going to also create a function that will trigger every time a new authentication user is created, and is going to replicate the data in the profiles table. It's also going to create a storage for bucket for avatars. Not sure if we're going to need it now, but for later it's good. So now if we look in the table editor, we see a new page called profile. And this ID here, if we look into the database visualizer, we see that the ID in profiles is linked to the authentication user ID, meaning that knowing the ID of the profile, we can know like the ID of a user, and vice versa. Knowing the ID of a user, authentication user is the same as here in the profile. But in profile, we can go ahead and add different columns like bio or website or hobbies and so on. Now, speaking about authentication, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the authentication, and under providers, I want to provide the Apple sign-in. I did that for the previous application, and it seems much easier compared to email, where I have to handle a lot of stuff like SMTP and so on. With Apple sign-in, it's just a button, and I let Apple handle everything else. So let's go and do enable here. And for client IDs, we need to provide the bundle identifier of our application. Let's go into our app.json and see for iOS what bundle identifier it created. Now it didn't set any bundle identifier, so I'm probably going to set it up ourselves. And let's do that with my dev.notjust, and I will do AI girlfriend. Yeah, let's do it like this. I'm gonna take this one and I'm going to add it here. And I think I'm going to save. Now I need to register this bundle identifier on my Apple account. Don't remember the Apple App Store, Apple Developer. Let's go into Apple Developer. And I think these in identifiers here, probably in these identifiers, we're gonna create a new identifier for app ID. I'm gonna select application here. And I'm going to register this identifier called dev, not just AI girlfriend, and say, I don't need the description probably. But what I'm interested in is I will scroll down until I find sign in with Apple, and I'm going to enable this one here. Let's do continue and let's do register. Now hopefully that's everything that we need. For email providers, I think I can even disable it. To not have to deal with SMTP and so on. Now I'm gonna go into Expo Apple Authentication and install this one in my application. Expo Apple Authentication. This is a package that will give me access to Apple Authentication. And is it available in Expo Go? Sign in with Apple. To enable sign in with Apple, set iOS uses property to true in your project settings. App.json, I need to do app.json, iOS, I need to do it here. iOS, Expo, iOS. Yeah, I think so. And in plugins, did it add anything? It didn't add anything. I don't see any config plugin. Let me check the other project if I needed the config plugin actually. I'm gonna look here in the app.json. Yes, I have used this Apple sign in, but in plugins, Apple Authentication, so it has it. I think I have to add it. And most probably it's not going to be available in Expo Go, but we're going to be able to give it a try in a second. Now all I have to do is create, as I did in the previous project, a component in the source components. I have this Apple sign in. Let me copy this part into my source components. Apple sign in.tsx and paste the code. What it's doing here is taking the superbase from source libutils. It's checking if its platform is iOS. It's going to render this the authentication button from Expo Authentication. It's going to set the type. And on press, it's going to request credentials. It's going to start the Apple Authentication. And then if there are credentials, it's going to use Superbase to sign in with this token, with this provider. And if everything is good, Superbase will know that, hey, the user is signed in. Now let's see where we're going to render this Apple sign in button. I'm going to do that into the application index. Should we do it in index? Let's do it in index now, and later on we're gonna figure it out where we're gonna do it. What's up with the styles? I don't see the styles here. Or maybe I don't even need a header, indeed. Container, I don't need container. I'm going to simply do a view and Apple sign in button. The view imported from React Native. Okay, see the button at the top. I'll need probably something like this. Maybe with class name. And for some reason, I don't see the classes, the native Wind classes. So what's going on? What's the problem here? Because if I do this redirect, I broke something with yeah, maybe in this global CSS. I think I need 2 more sets, and more set of this, or no? Oh no. I know. It's not here. It's actually in the Tailwind config where we are looking for components. It should be -source application and then -source components. and now it works. Good. Now I'm going to do here, hey, the index, add some padding. We have a button. Maybe full sign in with Apple. If I press it, create an account for ExpoGo using your Apple account. Let's do this one. I will do share my email. Give me 1 second. And if I do that, something happened, but I don't know what happened. User null, stat error, of API error. Didn't work. Does using Apple as an off-account provider requires the $99 a year dev account? But to submit the application to the store, you need the dev account. And I guess like using sign in with Apple requires that. But yeah, like how would you sign in with Apple if you're not submitting to App Store? And to submit to App Store, you need like the dev account. Well, let me double check here in the in the authentication. Users, no users yet. What happened? API error. I think I know what's the problem. I think because I'm using Expo, yeah, the error is that, hey, but the bundle identifier is host exp exponent. And maybe, but I said that I'm expecting it to be my ID provider. So let me check if I can go into the Apple here, and with comma I can provide another ID. If I provide this host exp, will it work? If not, I'm gonna have to create a custom development build for my project, which at one point I'm going to have to do it, but I'm gonna try to use ExpoGo as much as possible. So I'm gonna try this way again. And look at this. We have back the user information. So after identifying. If I look into the backend under the users, I should see a new user created. Here it is. It doesn't have a display name, but it has email and providers. The good thing is that if I look in table editor under profiles, we see the same user with the same ID that was automatically created when we signed up. And this one is linked with the authentication user into the auth schema. Good. So now that we have this this flow, this possibility to press Apple sign in and create and sign in with Apple, we need a way to automatically redirect either to the protected screens if the user is signed in, or away from the protected screens if the user is not yet signed in. I do that by usually creating a context API that stores the information about the authenticated user. Now that we have a global store, maybe I should do it from there, but for example, in my previous project, I don't have it, but I can do a new window and open this P2P language learning. I have a context for auth provider where I add this logic of getting the session and listening to updates and then storing it in the auth context provider as session, user, and so on. Is authenticated user. Let's do it with the auth provider in the similar way here. I'm gonna create a folder context and let's do here auth provider.tsx. I could rewrite it to match like our new Zustand store, get the information there, but I think it's not gonna add a lot of value for us now. So I'd rather get going and reuse some of the code from my previous project than spend it here. So what I do here is in the use effect, when the application loads, I'm fetching the session and I'm storing it here. And I'm starting to listening to on-off state change. If something happens, I'm going to store the new session. If loading, I'm going to not do anything because I'm not sure yet if it's logged in or not. Otherwise, I'm going to return this context provider with a session, with a user, and with a is authenticated field. Then I export also this helper hook use auth that I can go ahead and use it. But first, in the root layout, I need to render the auth provider like this, so that all the screens in my application have access to the auth provider imported from our context. Now in the index, I already have access to is authenticated from use auth. And I can check, hey, if a user is already authenticated, redirect him to the protected screens, meaning redirect him to the home screen, for example. Don't show him this welcome screen with Apple sign in. And show it only if he is not authenticated. And the other way around, on protected layout, I'm going to do the other way around. I'm going to say if a user, I'm going to import this same use of hook. And say if a user is not authenticated, redirect him to the home screen so that because he doesn't have access to these protected screens. Right? Now if I'm going to reload, I should see the chats. Cool. And if I later have like a sign out page, which I should have somewhere in the protected, I should be redirected back to the initial screen automatically. And this logic happens automatically because the application first initially opens on index.tsx. It checks if it's authenticated, it's going to redirect to protected. Otherwise, it's going to render the Apple sign-in. But if somehow a user that is not authenticated gets on the channel or on the index here in protected, it's first going to load this layout and it's going to check, hey, you're not authenticated, you're not supposed to be in any of these screens, so you should probably go back. So this is how it automatically works. I have a question. Does using Apple as an auth provider require? Yeah, I plan to submit to Play Store. If you plan to submit to Play Store, you can do sign in with Google. You don't need a sign in with Apple. Vadim, did you create the actual Apple ID yet in App Store Connect? Yes, I created it. But as you saw, I'm not yet using it because I'm still using Expo Go. So for that reason, I probably could continue even without creating the Apple ID. But in the providers for Apple, I gave this host.exp.exponent, which is the bundle identifier of Expo Go. So because I'm still using Expo Go, I could only give this one and it would work. However, if you build it either in development build or prepare it for production, in production you're no longer going to use Expo Go. In production you're going to use your own bundle ID. In my case, I set it with this bundle ID in app.json as a preparation. I'm not yet using it, but next time when I build a project for either production or for custom development build outside Expo Go, it's going to use this identifier. And for this identifier, I had to go on certificates and register it here. And select here sign in with Apple, basically enable it, and only then it's going to work. Let me also add the sign out part, and I'm going to probably do it in protected. I'm going to create a profile page.tsx. For now, it's going to simply do export default profile, something like this. Profile or setting or something like that. Let me go to that screen from our index, maybe, I don't know if or maybe in the layout I'm gonna say, hey, on the index there is going to be a header right, which is going to render a icon. Can I do here render a profile icon from Expo icons? Let's see what it did there. Let's make sure to import it first. And it has a profile. Maybe I'm going to do it with gray. And when I press on it, there is this on press event, or maybe I can even wrap it into a link from Expo router. And I'm going to redirect the user to href profile, and I'm going to do as child so that it renders the icon itself. So if I press on the icon, it's not available, but if I go here, reload, and I press it again, it's gonna go to profile. Now in the profile, I can add here a button, maybe from React Native, with title, sign out. That is going to do supabase.off.signout. Maybe I can even give it a color red. So now if I press sign out, I'm automatically redirected, but for some reason, stop the app. For some reason that is happening. I don't know why. I think I had the same problem in the other application. I'm doing something wrong that it kind of redirects back and forth for some reason, and I'm not sure why. It redirects back and forth. Is authenticated. Is authenticated. Kyran posted about this contest in the university school group Sony runs. So that's how I discovered it. Oh, I didn't know about that. Can you send a link, like, or a screenshot? I'm really curious to see. Digital Alchemist is saying this is going to be his first mobile application despite vast amount of web apps. Nice, keep going. I love bringing new people to the mobile development world. Oh, I never knew I had to add host Expo, the bundle identifier for Expo Go. I was compiling each time for authentication. Yeah, like it seems to work out of the box without even in Expo Go if we just add it there. But when we go to production, maybe we're gonna have to remove it from there. I don't know. Setting up for mobile on Google is way different than it is on web application. Yeah, it's a bit different. You're saving me hours of compiling applications. Thank you. Happy that you found something valuable here. By the way, guys, if you are new on this channel and I see a lot of new people here, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We do a lot of mobile development here. Throughout the year, I do a tutorial every single week on Fridays, and I do these project-based tutorials where we build projects with React Native, with Expo, a lot of amazing tools. Now in December, this is a little bit different because this is not a tutorial, this is me documenting the journey of building and launching 4 applications to the market. And that means that sometimes I have to take shortcuts, sometimes I have to reuse code, and it's a different experience. In tutorials, like it's completely different. So if you are a beginner React Native developer, make sure to check out some of our most popular tutorials. You're gonna see how easy it is to follow along and build application together. So yeah, welcome to the family. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you very much. This can be happen when we're repeatedly inside a component or component. It's off provider. It's off provider that is doing this problem. Am I not super base on off state? Set session, it reloads. Which part is re-rendering console? Use effect. I'm going to try to debug this issue. Session. You found the post. Nice. Let me see it. What am I not doing correctly here? Session. I'm updating the session. Let's try to start it again. Reload. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to paste comments, by the way, links. So maybe you can paste a link like with a space in between, before the dot or something like that. Yeah, send the link, but put like a space, so trick the YouTube that it's not a link. Use effect. get session on off change. That's good. Now if I sign in, it signs in, we have on off status change without use effect and null. Good. Now if I go here and press sign out, something starts happening and I'll have to stop the server not to get blocked by Apple. And it's not here, see, maximum update depth exceeded. Repeatedly call set state inside component will update. On off state change. Connection for user has been closed. Oh, YouTube didn't paste the comment at all. Let me see. Does it start with what? School, or how is it called? Nice. I see it. I see it. Perfect. Thank you. So what's up here in the layout? Redirect. And that's it. Redirect once. Redirecting to home. Is it here that is doing that? Hello, Aselbek from Uzbekistan. How are you doing? So let's try it again. Going here, sign out, and something happens. As you can see, not authenticated, redirected home. And why? Redirected. But I could do the same here in this index. I can do authenticated, redirected to protected. just to see if it's back and forth or if it's just back, 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 you know? That's what I'm wondering. Is it like back to index and the index back there? Or is it just there calling back multiple times? Okay, we are here. Let's go here. And let's do sign out and then stop the server. So it's only back home, you see? I hope it was refreshed. Let me open documentation for redirect expo router redirect. You can redirect a request to different URL based on some in-app criteria. Explorer supports number of different you can immediately redirect from a particular screen by using redirect like this. Router. Yeah, and why it doesn't work? I just want to confirm that I get the console log for redirecting to protected. So authenticated, I see redirecting to protected. And when I try to go back, I see this. Not authenticated, redirected to home. So this one doesn't work. Why? I'm wondering, is it because does it have something to do with this slash? For example, if I would have, I don't know, ABC, and then I'd have here signed out .tsx, and I would export default something like this. And I would add maybe even its own layout just to make sure that it's nothing to do with a root layout. Export default stack. So if from protected I'm going to do ABC signed out, it's not assignable. What? ABC signed out. Why it doesn't see it? I'm confused. on this one, I want a link ABC to the /ABC signed out. So if I press here, yeah, I get there. Then there is that page with this URL. Then why don't you see it here? Okay, now it sees it. So let's try again. Not to redirect to the home screen, but to somewhere else. If I go here, sign out, it works, you see? Let me come back and we're gonna figure out like why is this happening. Why redirecting back to the slash is not working. I'm gonna be back. Okay, so redirect. Relative to directory with anchor. Why going back? I'm feeling that like going back it goes there. But it keeps this one as well here mounted for some reason. Call the replace method. Maybe this replaces the solution. To ensure it happens every time the screen is focused. focus effect. Should I do it here? Protected layout. I'm thinking, yeah, that the replace is the solution because redirect probably put something on top. Let's try this approach. If I go reload, sign in. Yeah, I didn't expect it to give me so much headache. Do you have audio? Can you hear me? I speak softly. I decreased the audio thing level because it was too much before. So now if I do sign out with this router replace, didn't even happen anything. Because use focus effect shouldn't be on the layout. No, don't like this solution. Don't like to depend on effects for this kind of important stuff. Maybe the layout is not going to be a stack here, but it's simply going to be a slot. Let's try this way. A stack will put things on top of each other. A slot, probably not. Let's see it now. Okay, let's give it one more try. Authenticated, redirecting here. If I go here, sign out. But it's not actually tested because I needed to go here. One more try. Cannot type my password from the first try. Okay, go here, sign out. Still the same problem. So yeah, you know what? I'm going to, if you have solutions, please let me know. If not, if it's not authenticated. If not, I'm going to just document the bug and figure it out later because it takes me too much time and I need to move on. cannot. It can also be the thing that the index, yeah, I know why. The problem is this protected name, I think, yeah. Look, I'm not gonna do this, but I'm going to rename the protected not to be protective, but something like up or something like protected but without parentheses, so that it's going to actually be part of a URL, because I think it was the confusion from this index when it was inside the protected with parentheses, it was the same /URL than this one. So without specifying exactly which one you want to go, like it's going to be confused. So if I add actually up or protected here and change how I redirect, for example, I will redirect to application. And in this case, I can even add back the stack here. I don't know if I need it actually, but let's keep it. I don't need ABC. I'm going to get rid of them. Layout, okay, redirect by here. But for example, in channel, when we if channel redirect back to up or maybe home. Let's do up. Index. Here I'm going to do /up/channel. So I'm just gonna have to be careful, like how do I redirect. Now the slash inside this layout is not gonna be confusing, because the slash is going to be only this index. It's no longer going to be this index as well. So I think that's where the problem was coming from. Let me try again. Okay, so we are here. Now I can go through. Yeah, in the layout here, we need to do /up/profile. Then we can do sign out, and it's going to work. But the downside is that I'm gonna have to always have my the protected routes under the /up, and no longer have this advantage of having like a group that is not affecting the URLs. What we can actually do is go back to that protected. Let's see if it's going to work. If I'm going to do up without up profile, okay, profile, and the sign in to be on the welcome screen. So everything from index, I'm gonna move in this one. I'm not gonna have these things here. It's not gonna even have this one. So it's going to be simply the Apple sign in. Maybe it can even be off or welcome, something like that. In index, what we're gonna do is we're not gonna do anything other than check if it's authenticated. We redirect to the /protected. Else, if it's not authenticated, come on, if it's not authenticated, redirect him to /welcome. And I don't render anything in the index. Index is just for handling like where I should redirect him. I believe it's going to work. We'll see. Now from protected layout, when I do this redirect, I can be specific. I can I don't need to redirect to the /. I can redirect directly to welcome. Right? Let's give it a try. Let's start. Not sure if it's very clear like why the bug is happening. I kind of understand it. I'm not sure if it's the best way to handle it this way, but I understand like the clash, because there are two routes with the same URL / both index has the URL / and protected index has the URL / because the protected is optional in the URLs. So if it's not provided, export router will decide which one to navigate to. So when we were redirecting from this protected layout, it was taking the closest one, basically this index. So it's going to in the same protected screen, not like on the home screen. Let's give it a try now. We were greeted with a welcome screen. Now nothing happened here, because in the root, in the welcome, yeah, from the welcome I think we can do the same thing. Like we can listen to this is authenticated and do /protected. I think I needed that one here. Now from here I can sign out and I'm back to welcome. I can reload my application. I'm gonna get to welcome. I can sign in. I'll be automatically redirected to protected without doing anything. If I reload, I should be redirected to protected. Yeah, now everything works. Everything finally is connected together. Whew, that was a long one, but I got to the truth. The secret was in protected, not to redirect to the /, but to /something, because / was also this one, and it was taking it from here. Okay, and the layout. Okay. In the auth provider, I think now I can easily uncomment this part, because I was thinking that this is the problem, but I don't think this is the problem anymore. And that's good. And I can go ahead and do git add auth flow. So authentication done. Good. Did you just solve your bug? Yes, I solved my bug. Hey Ruslan, thank you very much for the donation. Ruslan said привет. Why did you retract the message? Привет, привет, Ruslan. How are you? Now that I have involved provider information about the user, I can use the information about the user. Let me also clean some stuff. The details no longer needed, right? From components, the container, I don't need it. The edit screen info, I don't need it. Screen content, I don't think I need it. Good. Now in protected, if I go into the, or maybe in components, stream chat client, here I hardcode the user, but I can take this user from use of hook by doing it like this. Now user.id, it's going to be the user ID. But I always have this problem that the user type is user or null. I know why it's happening, because if I'm not authenticated, it's not null. But when I use it, I'm sure that it's of type user. So how do I do that? Of context. Can I do here maybe a const use user? Or let's do this one. Add a custom hook that would give access to the user and raise an error if user is null, but the exported user type should be a strict user without null. Does it make sense? For me, it makes sense. Let's see if for AI is going to make sense. So use required of user. If user is null, it's going to throw an error. Otherwise, it's going to return user as a const, maybe. So let's do use user and return without an object, simply returning the user as const. Not sure if I need that. Now, if I call use user instead of use of, this is going to be of type user. And I no longer have to deal with question marks. And the only thing is that I need to make sure that I only use this hook in the places where I'm sure that the user is connected. The user is not null. Otherwise, I'm going to have problems. Okay, now I do it here. That's good. I can do the same in the protected index where I'm taking this user. I can do use user. And it's going to have a user ID. And in the where channel. No, that's it. Okay. Let's see if it's still working. Hopefully mine follows the trend. Hopefully. I have this container in where not found screen. It had that container. Not found screen. Let's remove a container. Let's just do here a view like that. Okay, there are no chats because now it's using my actual user ID from Supabase. But if I reload, hopefully it added me to a chat. No, it didn't. In the components, chat client, user ID. Hope it should add me to this chat with user ID. What's my console log user here? I think it's correct. Members user ID. In our protected index, have filters. If I remove filters, I have, if I add filters, I don't. Yeah, because this channel with ID 1 already existed for the previous user. If I'm just going to change it to 2, it's going to create it for us. This is going to be deleted later because we are going to do that a bit better. Still, it doesn't create it. Channel 3. In the layout, protected. Chat client. What's happening? Let me double check if channel with ID 3 even exists on stream. So I'm gonna go into the Explorer, into the channels, and I see the channel with ID 3 is not even there. Is it because here something doesn't exist yet? Yeah, here the ID user data. Yeah, the ID that I'm connecting with is still old one. Okay, so I'm going to move it here at the top because I need to use this user ID here, user.id, for the user that I'm connecting with. Because I was using a hard-coded ID here, but I was adding another member here, which is no good. But the token is going to be different because I'm going to have to take my Supabase token for my authentication users. I'm going to have to take this user ID and using somewhere that chat messaging where client SDK for maybe React Native for tokens and authentication, there is a link to generating development tokens. Or I was searching here, generate token. This is still for product, for very temporary, because in a second we're gonna do that on the server. But anyway, I would like to test it out. Yeah, here. So I'm gonna need my secret and the user ID from Supabase, basically my ID of a user, and using the secret of stream, which I'm going to take from my dashboard. 1 second. I'm going to generate a new token, and this token I'm gonna put hard-coded here. Now I'm supposed to create a new user, connect with a new user with this ID, and I confirm that by going to stream use or explorer users, and besides 1, 2, 3, which was the first hard-coded ID, now I have a new user with this ID that ends with FF7, which is the same ID of our user from Supabase. So this is how we connected them together. And yeah, it added the shared channel for this specific user, and it's using this information from the store. Cool. The last step is, instead of doing this manual token, we need to generate it on our server. Basically, we need to take the ID of a user, encode it, and give to stream that encoded ID, so the stream can validate that, hey, this indeed is the user that it's saying it is. So for that, we're going to need a Supabase edge function. We need a Supabase edge functions that we see here, and creating a Supabase edge functions, we probably need to first link or initialize Supabase locally. Before I do that, let me commit some of this stuff. Git status, git commit connect stream user with auth user. Now I'm going to use the npx superbase to init the superbase locally, in a way creating the setup that will allow me to update my superbase backend and their functions and their database from my source code. Now I need to link it with my remote one. If I look back into the build a user management system, at the top I'll see this superbase link, project ref, and here we need to provide the project reference. I'll prefix this with npx so that it goes superbase link project ref. I'm going to go back to superbase to take my project ref from settings. This is the reference, basically the ID. And now we'll link the local superbase with the remote one. Here it asks us for the database password. I saved it, the one that I created when I initialized my superbase. If you didn't save it, you can go into the settings database, and for database password, press reset password. Now I have it linked, and probably it's going to work. And this will allow me to create a local function and then later publish it to remote. My local function, I'm going to create it using npx superbase functions new, and let's do stream token provider. So in the superbase, we get a new function called stream token provider. This is in a way a lambda function, an edge function that is going to run on our server environment. It's running using Dino, which is very similar to Node.js. It's a bit different how we import stuff, but it's quite similar to Node.js. Now here, because this is server environment, we can go ahead and use the secret key from stream and generate a token for the user that is going to ask for it. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel because I've done it in the previous project. So I'm going to open the P2P language learning. I'm going to open the superbase functions stream token provider index, and I'm going to copy this one from here. I'm going to paste it here. Maybe I'm going to even delete the comments. So what's happening here is not very good formatting, but we're good. We are creating a stream chat server client by providing the API key. For that, we need the environment variable stream API secret and also stream API key. And having a server client, a stream server client, we can call this function create token and send an ID there. Back, we get an encoded token. And because we have a secret here, it's going to use that secret to encode the token, and then the secret should be kept secret. Then stream can decode the token and check like if it's the same as the user ID that the user says it is. That's how the security works. Now, where we take this token, or where we take this user ID, we don't allow users to send their ID. We take it from their authorization headers. We take it as auth token, then we query the user with that auth token, we get information about that user, and then we get data, user, and ID. And back we return the token. If everything works, what I'm going to be able to do now is do npx superbase functions deploy. This is going to take my function code here It needs Docker to deploy it. Why does it need Docker to deploy it? Docker is for running Supabase locally. So let me open it and run it. And if I'm going to do it again, it's going to tell me that we have a project already running. And then we're gonna, oh no, it actually worked. Now if I'm going to look at edge functions here, we should see a new edge functions called stream token provider. The only thing that we need to do is provide that edge functions with these environment variables called stream API key and stream API secret. For that, I'm going to look at Supabase edge functions. And in this doc, there should be managing environment variables. This is how we get them. And we can either do locally, when we run locally, we can do that with .env in functions. And production secrets. Has this supabase.env. This creates a new file for storing your production secrets. And what you do is Supabase secrets set and with environment file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this .env in Supabase directory. So in Supabase, I'm going to create .env, and here I'm going to provide two things: stream API key equal and stream API secret. The stream API key is going to be the same as the one we did to Expo, because this is the public one, stream API key. But stream API secret is going to actually be secret, so give me a second, and you can take it also from your dashboard. Overview, I'm gonna copy the secret, and I'm gonna put it here, and hopefully I'm not gonna show it to you. Yeah. Now, as we saw in the documentation, I can do npx Supabase secret set and point to the environment variables by doing npx Supabase secret set environment file Supabase environment, and it's not found because I put it in function, so it should be in the Supabase. Let me check if it's not going to open it up. So yeah, it should be in Supabase env. Now, if I do that, we see that, yeah, I finish the Supabase secret set. That we can now go to the edge functions, and somewhere here we also should be able to see the actual secrets. I don't know exactly where, but there are secrets. Project settings, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, if everything works correctly, now stream token, when we call this function, should give us a token. Calling a function, calling an edge functions, we can do that with Supabase. I'm going to go here and let's say in our assets, maybe in our source application protected, I know in the index, I'm going to do this. Supabase dot in functions dot invoke. Here I'm going to give a name of a function, and the name of a function is the name of this folder, stream token provider. Then we're going to do console.log, and if it catches an error, I'm also going to do console.error. This is just for test to see if this function actually works and generates a token for us. I'm gonna look here, and we see that actually it didn't work. Edge functions return status 20 something. We go back to edge functions, we go here and we look at the logs. Tokens can only be created server-side using the API secret. Probably the secret was not set. Edge functions. Why the secret was not set? Because we called that npx supabase secrets set. Maybe I called it in another, I called it somewhere else. If I look now, now it has the stream API secret and key. And if I will check the logs again and reload, now it should work. We see data, we see token, and we see the token that was generated by our edge function. And this token can be used to authenticate the stream user. Now I'm going to take a very small helper function from my previous project, P2P learning. And that function I think is where in utils stream token provider. So let's go back here in my application. Let's create a new folder, utils stream.tsx, and add this stream token provider. What it's doing is invoking the same function we saw before, and it's simply taking the response.data.token from there and returning it back. Now I can take this function, and in our components stream chat client, we can give it directly to use create chat client as stream token provider, because this should be either a string for token or a function for provider that returns the token as a string. That's what our function does. And now I can delete the hard-coded token. And if I reload, it should connect with that user ID. Perfect. And if you're going to see what it does, it's comparing the user ID here, which is sent as a clear text, with a user ID there. And if I say I pretend to be user 1234, it's not going to allow me to connect to stream, because this ID does not match with ID from the token that was generated on our backend. And the way we generate the token on the backend is in a way that we do not send any data here. The backend understands who is the user that is doing this request and is doing it automatically on the backend. So we are stuck here in the loading screen. Probably we can have like a error message, but that's not the point. I just wanted to show why do we need all of this complexity with a token provider. It's to prevent users to send here any kind of ID. It's for security, because the user that we specify here is matching the encoded user from our backend that we provide in the token here. Okay, so now we have finished with the piping for authentication, user creation, connection, and so on. So I can go ahead and do git status, git add, git commit, stream token provider, and git push origin main. Good. Ooh, that was intense. Yeah. what do I want to do next? I think the next step is to run the agent somehow in these chat rooms, because that is going to allow us to at least chat with an AI. Now it's just empty, right? So yeah, probably that would be the logical next step. Oh, give me 1 second. I'm gonna bring some water and we continue. We are going to do 1 more hour. We have a very stable like functionalities for setting, authenticating a user and chatting. Now I think we need to connect on the other side an AI agent so that this chat would make sense. And after that, we're gonna think about how to configure this agent, how to create a lot of these agents, and what we do next. But that's probably later. Now we just need the agents themselves. So give me a second. I'm gonna be back and we continue. Did you miss this dude? Hello? Say hello. Where is the camera? Wanna play? It's the time when we usually play, yeah? What should we work on next? No. Okay, now you can go. I'm gonna be back soon. So, digital alchemist, yeah, I understand you. I understand the frustration. All right, so for the AI agent, as I said, I did the same in the previous application. And I follow this blog post by Stream to integrate AI. For agents. So there is tutorials. I'm not gonna explain once again because it's fresh, like how I remember how it works. But let me just quickly explain how the things will work. This is our React Native application on the left, customer application. What the customer application is going to do, it's going to join a channel and it's going to start an agent. An agent will live on a notjust server in our backend. And that agent is going to be connected to the same channel and will listen to new messages. When a new message on the channel from the customer gets, the agent is going to use an LLM service like OpenAI or Gemini or stuff like that. It's going to generate a response and is going to send it as a message back to the channel. That's how the things will work. Now I'm going to go into this React Native tutorial and follow the documentation for some of the things that we need to do. So from the project setup, we have everything. From here, I think also we have everything. Maybe React Native FS we don't have. Let's see. In the cursor here, package.json. Do we have it? No. Do we need it? Maybe. Don't know exactly if we need it. So if something is not working, we're gonna come back here to take it. Maybe it's for streaming the response. The channel list, we have everything. We have this one. Running the backend. The backend, they provide here the code for the backend. This is a Node.js backend. That's an API with two, like if you look into the source, it has two endpoints. One of them is called start agent, and this is going to create that agent and join a channel based on ID. And the other one, stop agent. Stop agent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a terminal and let's go to our projects, ls. And I'm thinking, should I, maybe I will just simply clone this one. So let's do git clone and this one. Let's do clear ls. And instead of your local, I don't know, let's call it AI agent. So now if I do ls, we have this AI girlfriend agent. Let's open it also in cursor. Move AI. Made a typo. So let's open with cursor the agent. Here it is. Here is our backend. Now from the env, we need the stream API key, the stream API secret. That's how this backend is going to connect to stream and be able to send messages. But it also needs some key for Anthropic and OpenAI, and these are going to be used for the LLMs. We don't need OpenWeather. It only shows how we can also call functions, like get information from OpenWeather, for example. But I don't need that one. So for stream, for secrets and so on, well, first of all, I'm going to have to copy it and rename it to .env. And give me 1 second, I'm going to put here my stream API keys and then my OpenAI keys. Okay, so two API keys are in. And I need also something from here. This one in the stream. And this one here. Now I will close it and hopefully it's going to work. We're gonna see. Back to the code. Let's go ahead now and install the dependencies. npm install in our backend. Then in the package.json, we're going to have to do build first. So let's do npm or maybe dev. And for dev running, I'm also going to say, hey, use maybe watch to reload when we do changes. And also env file is going to be this.env. And now if I'm going to do npm run dev, it should start this local server. And we are supposed to now be able to send a request to this local 3000 / start AI agent. And what's going to happen is going to create a new user and join the channel with that ID and create a new agent, an AI agent, using either OpenAI platform or Anthropic, and it's going to join there. So let's go back to the documentation to see what are the next steps. Okay. So there are a couple of helper functions that we're gonna add. For example, in our front end, in our client side, in source, I'm gonna create a file in the HTTP folder called API TS. I'm gonna add two methods here, or only one, for post request. This is a simple helper function that is going to take URL and data and send a fetch to that URL. And now I'm also going to do an HTTP request. And here we have two requests like this. I'm going to replace right away here const AI const AI agent URL, and I'm going to take it from process.environment variables.expo public. It needs to be public AI agent URL. Now I'm going to replace them here. So that later on when I deploy, it's going to be easier for me just to change the environment variable and to have a new, to connect to the deployed backend. I'll do the same here. So these are two functions, one to start the AI agent and one to stop the AI agent. Okay, and the last step is to go and provide the environment variable here as expo public localhost for now. I can go ahead and reload the server to take the new environment variable into consideration. Okay, we want to let the SDK know how we want to resolve messages. So this is happening on the chat. We add this is message I generated. I already have that in components, stream chat. I say, hey, if a message has this AI generated field to true, consider that this is AI generated. And stream chat knows how to handle them better, like how to render them differently and so on. Let's move on. Creating a typing indicator. Not sure if we need that, but where is it? This is a default pre-built one. and we can add it in the channel, application channel, after the message list, and we can import it from Stream Chat Expo. This is just going to add like an indicator, like whether the Stream Chat is thinking or generating, and give more feedback. We can also build our own. I'm not gonna do that. Add UI for handling the AI. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it as it is. Some additional UI, however, let's add a button that would allow users to activate or deactivate the chatbot in a given channel. To do this, we'll first introduce another utility hook called use watchers. Let's add this use watchers in the, I'm gonna create a new folder hooks. Maybe inside there I'm going to create a folder stream and add a file use watchers. This is again another helper hook that will start watching who is joining a server channel, and if there is someone joining the channel with AI bot, we're going to add it to the watchers, and later on we're gonna see what we can do. Using that, we're gonna see, is there any AI bot, AI agent inside the channel? Now let's go back to the docs. And we can start creating this control AI button. In the components stream, let's add a new file, control AI button.tsx. Let's add this one here. Let's import some of the stuff. For example, channel type. Use effect. Stop AI from our requests. Watchers, use watchers, okay. And let's do export default function. Oh, come on. Channel. What happened here? Let's do as channel type. Yeah, now everything is good. Now this is a button that we can render inside the channel. How did we render it? For example, in the channel screen, we can render this control AI button somewhere below the message list. And let's make sure to import it. Now if I join a channel, I should see this button at the top right corner. It's a simple button that either activates or deactivates the AI agent. It's not perfect because I want it to be somehow automatically enabled or disabled, but it's something to get started with, and then we can adjust it. So now we can see this at the top corner. If I press start AI, we see stop AI. And if I do here, why are you reloading? I can go here and say, the AI is started, and I can do, are you here? Send. Let's look what's happening. We see thinking generated. Yes, I'm here. I noticed you typed some random letters. How can I help you today? How are you today? And that's, guys, how we added the AI chatbot. Hello, Landus. And the way it happens is by pressing this button in this control AI button. What we did is we call this start AI function. The start AI is sending a request to the /start AI agent. This request is having this channel ID. On the backend, the request gets here in the start AI agent. We default the platform to Anthropic. If you didn't provide Anthropic API URL, it's not going to work, but you can send from here platform as well, OpenAI, if you wanted to work with OpenAI. It's going to validate if channel exists. It's going to create a user with ID that starts with AI bot. This is quite important because that's how we also test if there is any AI agent in the chat room. Then it's going to add that user to stream. It's going to register him as a user, as an admin user, and it's going to add him to the channel members. After that, it's going to start watching the channel. To watch a channel means watching if there are new messages, for example, and getting notified. Basically creating a WebSocket connection with a server. After that, we call this create agent function. This is where the fun begins, because in the create agent, we, depending on the platform, we are either creating an OpenAI agent or an Anthropic agent. For example, if we look into the Anthropic agent, we see that in this init, we create the agent, and on message.new, we do this handle message. So when the client receives message.new event, we're going to handle it here. The handle message, this is where actually the interaction with LLM works. What it's doing is collecting the last 5 messages so that it knows what we are talking about. And it's only going to select the one from the user, I think. It's going to push the new message there. And it's going to create a message with Anthropic. Then the result is going to be streamed as a message to the channel. So it's initially going to be empty string, and after that is going to stream it letter by letter. That's why we see here like letter by letter coming in. And that's how it works. And I think here in Anthropic, if we provide a system, we can say we can give instructions. Something like that. Not me, this is AI generated. Now, if I'm going to do hello there, let's see what's going to be the response. Maybe it's not reloaded, or maybe it was. I don't know. Let's see. Now, if I reload the application as well, if I go here, I need to start the AI first. Yeah, it started. Hello there. Hi, sweetie. It's so nice to hear from you. How are you doing today? All right. That's how it's going to go. Whew, that's the stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to also keep track of the backend in Git as well. So let me create AI girlfriend agent. I'm gonna do git remote set URL origin, this one, and git push origin main. Let's see if it worked. Yeah, I have it here as well. But git status. Okay. All right, so as I was saying, like we have a pretty solid base for our application. So we integrated the AI agent, and now it's possible to chat with AI. I want to improve how we connect and disconnect the agent. I want it to be more automatic than this. I will add like some personality, and so want to think about like how we're gonna do that one. Yeah, probably this one is here. So sign in is done. Cool. So we had a very good progress today. What should I work on? How should this connecting with connecting work? I'm thinking to add some kind of a Tinder-like interface or experience where I pre-generate like a lot of personalities, and you swipe through them and you choose which one you want to talk with. And I remember previous year in the, how is it called, Devember series. In this Devember series, in one of the days, I don't remember where, we have done Tinder swipe animation day 6, and we've done this with Catalan Miron. We've reanimated and with some nice animations. So should I look into that to see how we implemented that? Let's bring some of that stuff here and see how it's going to look like. In the source application protected, let's do match.tsx. I'm gonna get there for the layout, maybe through another icon in the header. Like, I'm gonna figure out like how to do it better again, but let's do it like this again. What icon? Give me something. Oh, it should be separate one. Maybe header left. So if I go here, nothing happens. If I reload, because yeah, in the match I need to do export default match screen match. If I go here, come on. Yeah, we are redirected there. Now let's look at what we had here in the index. Okay, that's something, and we go to Tinder. In Tinder, we have these dummy users, and we have a list of Tinder cards. Let's copy this code in our maybe components, new file, cards, or profile cards.tsx. Let's do this one here. We need the Tinder card itself, a one Tinder card. Wait a second, what's this? Users.tinder. What's different Tinder screen and this one? I'm wondering what's the difference. But anyway, in the source components, there was day 6, there was this Tinder card. Let's copy it and let's call it profile card.tsx. Paste in here. We're gonna need the expo linear gradient. Is it included in Expo Go? Hopefully it is. So let's do npx expo install expo linear gradient. We already have our animated and gesture handler. And from profile card, it's only going to be like the place where we imported profile card. Now let's go ahead in our application match. Let's render the profile cards. So if I do search, okay, here we are. And I can do swipe, 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 swipe. Okay. Nice. So I have this one here. Hmm. I see. But yeah, small bugs. And yeah, probably tomorrow is going to be about storing these fake personalities, AI personalities, in the database. Nice. It really looks nice, like this component that we've built. And how does it look in profile cards? We have some IDs here. Active index. Fetch more. Let's maybe rename it. I'm gonna clean some of the things we no longer need here. The profile card. Okay, perfect. Maybe it should be with Tinder card width. Where did we do screen width multiplied by 9? 9.5. Or 9 would be okay. Why it says here? Because it's too wide. Minus 15. This is rotation, but translation. maybe more here, 900. Yeah, something like that. Okay, so this is going to be the git add. Okay, and I think with this I'm going to wrap up today's session, because right now in a couple of minutes I have to go, because every Monday we have a group coaching call with the React Native Mastery students, and we have it in 10 minutes. And if you would like to know more about React Native Mastery, this is the course that will take you from anywhere you currently are and all the way until you feel comfortable building any kind of React Native and Expo applications. So if you're interested, check it out at React Native Mastery. And by the way, for the Not Just Hack, there is still time to participate. All you have to do is build and launch one application to the market. You don't have to do 4. And submit the entry by the 31st December. More information at notjust.dev. And this is my third application that I'm building, because during this December, I'm building 4 applications in 4 weeks. 2 of them are already on the market. This is the third one that we just started today. We have quite a good progress, I would say, and that's because we were able to reuse some of the logic and some of the SDKs that we used in previous projects, thanks to the stream chat as well. Like we have like all the chatting functionalities without having to change much. And also we have an AI agent that already works. And tomorrow is going to be more about like user experience and how to optimize it, how to give personalities to these AI agents and so on. Okay, so that's what we have. And we also prepare like these card animations that we've built previous year at the November series. And I think that's how we are going to do, how the user will select like who he wants to talk with. All right, so that was it. Thank you very much for joining me on this journey. I hope you're learning. I hope you are getting inspired and you are also building your own applications. And yeah, let's build